Mihajlo, welcome to the show and thanks for being with us today.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Thank you.
So to start the interview, why don't you tell us a little bit about your show, when you started, and what the show's about?
Okay, the show started April 1st, 2002. I thought it was a joke because of the date. It was started with my mom. I did the English-speaking part, she did the Serbian part, and it was basically a news program to shed light on the war in the former Yugoslavia. So we would talk to people that were there, such as investigative journalist Scott Taylor, who manages Esprit de Corps. It's a military magazine. Also former ambassador Yugoslavia, Mr. James Bissett. Sorry. So we would talk to all these experts and get the insider's opinion on the war. Once things died down a bit there, we felt a need for a more lighter, entertaining aspect to the show, and that's when my mom and I branched off. She still does the news once a month, the first Monday of every month, and I would do the entertainment part, and Surge Bigavac, known on the air as Bigavac, joined me later, and now we have a great dynamic, so it feels pretty good.
That's really awesome to hear, and actually we had our question that we were going to ask you, how your sort of new involvement in the show and your taking over a larger role in the show differs from your mother, Boba Borovic, who had kind of run the show and had sort of identified with the show and the identity of the show for a long time. But I'm going to ask you then instead, what do you feel her legacy is that she's sort of left behind for the show now that you've taken over more of a central role?
Well, she does a lot for the community. She was the head of the Serbian Heritage Society. She runs her own business, an electrolysis business from home. So she's really busy. So that was the main reason I think that I took over. But she still does the news, and she's still going to leave that legacy of great journalism. And that's what we raised a lot of money for the funding drive, and most of the reason is her dedication to the news and how well she does that. So she's always going to have that. I don't think we could even come close to touching her on that point. Sorry, I was going to say.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Please, it's my time. No, we do like light news, like sports news. We follow Novak Djokovic, Nole. We follow him around. Anything he does, we report on it. So that's we still do have a bit of integrity.
Right. No, that's great. I mean, it's a nice sort of two sides of the same coin. It's great to hear. Uroš and I actually recently talked to Vera Grbić, who also has her own radio show, and we talked a lot about community involvement and the importance of youth being involved in the community. What is your connection to the Serbian community, and sort of what is your advice for Serbian youth?
My advice would be, don't wait for something to come to you. Try and, like you guys were telling me stories about the radio and how you have all these projects. People should follow in your tracks and really have that initiative to start something. But you can always get involved with things that are already occurring. There's always a number that you can call for information, and people are more than happy to accept help on a volunteer basis. So I would just have some initiative. For
sure. And why is it that you do a Serbian show versus another radio show? What is your connection to them?
I have, well, other than being Serbian.
Yes, there's that.
It gives me the inside track. I can just read the names easier, so to decipher the news. Why a Serbian radio show? It just kind of evolved naturally like that. Srđan and I have a lot of fun using Serblish, and so that wouldn't really translate.
Or Serbish, as we call it.
Serbish, yeah. That's even better.
Yeah.
You should shorten it down. The G was really offensive to me, so thank you, Serbish. Yeah. We use a lot of Serbish, and that wouldn't be conducive to an English-speaking audience, I don't think. But we try and reach everyone.
And what kind of music do you guys play? What kind of, first of all, music did the show play when it was, when your mother was more running things, and what kind of music does it play now? Have you guys changed it up?
We changed it up quite a bit. There was a lot of kolo played with my mom, which is fabulous. Love it, love the genre, love the dancing. But the youth don't tend to listen to too much kolo these days. And there was trubachi and we still play a lot of trubači. We love the horns and the dancing. But mostly we listen to hip hop and play hip hop. That's, I guess, what we know most of. So we can speak intelligently on it, not like I'm speaking now, but on that topic, we shine.
And what can we expect from you guys on the show in the next few episodes?
Lately, we've been on this kick of Serbian impressions of North American celebrities. So, if I may, I hope Surge does his Robert De Niro. But no, these are terrible impressions. But somehow we find them hilarious when they're done in Serbian. So, if I may, to keep it contemporary, after the election, I'd like to do my Serbian Barack Obama, which listeners might have heard on this week's show. It's terrible, by the way, so Uroš, please don't expect too much.
Oh no, I'm going to give you a segment on the show if
Just
this
for
works
the
out.
impressions.
Hvala Majo, hvala Uroše. Posle lekcije završenja moramo sad da govorimo o ekonomiji. Malija, Saša, idite u krevet. So
Well, that's better than doing impressions of Serbian politicians, that's for sure.
In English.
That's why we don't cover politics.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. You've got a segment, I think.
I think we have to have a whole show just for this.
Thank you
for
so
this.
much.
Your impressions.
It would probably tank your show if you do that, so I'm going to have to graciously decline, but thank you so much.
But it's awesome. It's great that you guys do something different, and I would encourage all our viewers to listen to your show, and we're going to talk to Surge in a little bit. So thank you very much
It's
for
my
being
pleasure.
with us.
Thanks
Thank
a
you for
lot.
having me.
We're back with Surge Bigavac, the co-host of Monday's Encounter on CKCU FM, and despite the Partizan jersey and me being a huge Crvena Zvezda fan, I'll welcome you to the show. Huge welcome, and thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
So I guess the first question right off the bat, how did you get involved with Monday's Encounter, and how do you know Mihajlo?
Well, I know Mihajlo through my brother, actually, and he also went to my same high school, but he's a bit older than me. So we met through my brother, and then he was doing a radio show, and he was always talking to himself, I found, a lot. You know,
So
just
you came in
I
and
came in to
changed
give him a
all that
little bit
around.
of someone to talk to, and then me and him click pretty well. We both have a wild sense of humor. So we just always got along pretty well, and then decided to make it a constant co-hosting type thing, you know?
Awesome.
Nice. And Mihajlo talked about playing hip hop. Can you tell us a little bit about your love of hip hop and when that started? And
Yeah, I started basically in high school when all my friends were, I guess, from out of the country. You know what I mean? So we kind of all merged into that hip hop scene. Mihajlo has a more extensive, of course, because of the age. He's only a couple years older than me. But basically, yeah, I liked it because a lot of the samples they take from hip hop, you can take, for example, Serbian music, like Bijelo Dugme, for example, and make a beat out of that. And I always thought that was interesting, so I kind of went towards that.
It definitely is interesting. Now, tell me, how familiar are you with Serbian hip-hop specifically? And if you are, can you recommend any artists for our viewers?
Yeah, I'm pretty familiar with it. I have a bunch of friends in Belgrade. This group called Carski Rez, Scooby Blokovski, and Kruks. They're my boys, Kuwait as well. So we're really actually good friends with them, and we know a lot about the hip-hop scene there. And then my brother more introduced me to other groups like Ice Negrutin and Prti Bege and stuff like that. And yeah, I like them as well because, you know, you have Canadian hip-hop and American hip-hop, they have their own topics, and you have Serbian hip-hop and has their topics, and I like that because I'm Serbian, of course. And that's basically how it is.
And it's basically a form of expression.
Exactly.
I was going to say that, you know, like hip hop here, you know, we talk about the ladies and the money and stuff like that. What is different about Serbian hip hop? Like, what kind of topics do they cover?
It's not really different on that point.
So
People still talk about the ladies and the money and stuff like that. But they also talk about just growing up in Belgrade, you know, like especially New Belgrade. They have like a group called, I can't remember their name, but they have a song where it goes, Blok, brate, Brooklyn, blate, Blok, Brooklyn, bato, kakav, brate, Brooklyn, brate, Blok, brate, zakon. So even saying that, so they just talk about like their block, New Belgrade, and it's pretty cool, like just because I can't relate to it from here, but I can hear the stories from there, so I like listening to them, and
Yeah, that's very interesting. Thank you so much for being with us today, and good luck with the show. We'll definitely be tuning in on Mondays.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.